Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And today we're taking a look at the next figure in the line from the Velocitron Speedia 500 Walmart exclusive subline of Transformers Legacy. This is Autobot Burnout. Burnout is a repaint with a new head of Wave 1 Skids that is based on one of the many Diaclone recolors, which, surprisingly, right about the time that this figure became available, Takara announced that Burnout would be the next repaint of that Masterpiece Skids mold. For those of you who maybe aren't as familiar with the line, the mold that Skids and Burnout are based on, the Honda City, is really like the most beloved car in Japanese history. It is a cultural institution over there. That's why you got a Masterpiece figure, because it was its 40th anniversary, and something tells me that's why this particular figure is included in the Velocitron line. It'll be interesting to see if they're going to do the other two repaints, Crosscut, and I forget what the red one's name was. Crosscut, I think, has a better option, since it's been a variation of that has been released in the United States over the years. But other than the repaint with the new head, the weapons are still the same figure. So what we'll do right now is we're going to pause, and then we'll come back and we'll do a comparison with Skids. Okay, and we're back. I just went ahead and removed Burnout's weapons, because since we are going to do a transformation a little bit later, just to make it a little bit easier. Now with Skids, you notice it's holding weapons. These are basically just when I store the figure, because the cardboard tray doesn't hold these two particular weapons well. That's a little bit of a, consider that like a little off-the-shelf update. There's a few other things we'll talk about when we get into the transformation. But yeah, so we do have this difference in paint detailing. Let me straighten up Skids here a little, so it's, there we go. But the Autobot sigil, that's still in place. You do see that there's more of a gunmetal gray to offset the black, whereas on Skids, it's black to offset the blue and silver. Same basic detailing here on the what would be the front grille, and you still have the same panel lining there on the door. Again, moving down to the waist, it's now gunmetal black. These shin bits are gunmetal, whereas here there's black and you have the silver there on the cast. You still have the red feet and things of that nature. The big difference, as I said, is the heads. As you can see, Burnout has a face plate, whereas Skids has just that open plate, and that's really, how it was on the original toy. I do believe Burnout was a direct repaint of Crosscut. Let me just straighten up the knees here. Give it a little, there you can see around the back. This has the detailing for the brake lights that's not on Skids. I'm sure that was like a 5 cents they couldn't spare, but other than that, it's the same figure, and it's the same transformation, just different colors and a new head. So we'll pause and we'll come back into the transformation. Now, some of you might be wondering why we're going to do the transformation. First, when we looked at Skids, I did the transformation from vehicle to robot. I'm going to do it from robot to vehicle because since the release of Skids, I've heard that there have been some issues pertaining to the back panel here, pegging in vehicle mode. Now, Vangelis, another toy reviewer, also the host of the WTF at TFW 2005 podcast, mentioned something, a technique that I've heard, that you flip the feet in last. Now, I was looking to try that until I remembered that the feet don't move forward and back. They're, you do have the ankle pivot, but they're all fixed to this whole leg and knee component. So I really wasn't sure what to do, but having transformed this figure a couple times, I have to tell you, they have fixed some tolerance issues that this panel really does snap in quite securely, especially right here up front. And you're going to hear and see that as we get into the transformation. Now, to start the transformation, might as well just make your life easy and bring the legs together. That way you can just have that solid chunk to grab. Next, what you want to do is rotate the arms out. And, I have to say, I think having this coloring here on the shoulders kind of makes it a little bit easier to know that this is the side going forward. If you remember in my Skids review, I had the wheels facing forward, which you can do for variety, but... So you're going to rotate them out like that, and then rotate at the bicep so that the fist faces straight up. You can, of course, now rotate everything at the wheel down so that it'll tuck underneath, but we're not doing that just yet. Come in the back, come in the front here, and flip up this whole section. You might be inclined to want to try to peg that panel in now. I would say wait just to get... oh, actually, just went in. Well, if you can get it in, fine, but I would wait for the leverage of having more of the transformation done. Now, what we're going to do is want to swing the legs forward here at the hips, and then this whole hip and waist section is going to collapse inward, up. Make sure, let's see if you can see that. Make sure you get the cod piece there folded up past the indent for the peg hole there. At this point, you can go ahead and bring in the arms and bring them down, and they will peg into, there's like a tab there and a slot on the inside of the forearm that this will slide tab into. The doors will naturally come in on an angle. That's fine. While you're underneath, flip out those panels, and then bring the legs up, collapse them forward, and really all that's left is close the door. And as you can see, it came together very nicely. The final step, of course, flip out the wheels because you want this to roll. But I really don't see any gappage or anything. And I mean, there was some on Skids. I do remember I had to massage it, but this all came together quite nicely. The vehicle does roll. In terms of weapon storage, again, same options. The axe, the Energon axe, has that positioning right there. Let me make sure it's a little straight. There we go. And then you can just peg these weapons here in on the side. I will mention that if they do another repaint of this figure, I think they're going to have to do something special to get me to buy it again. Maybe do that longer rifle that came with Crosscut and is coming with the Masterpiece version of Burnout, the one that has the handle built in. Other than that, maybe they might combine Crosscut and I can't think of that red one's name. It's going to come to me when the review's done, but maybe they'll combine that, like give it Crosscut's head and a red body just to screw with people. But and then the other thing is too is with this being like a new character, you can have a lot of fun with the weapons. Like I've been like displaying it differently. I really just use those forearm pegs to store the weapon, to hold the weapons instead of the fists. So there is a lot of fun there now, and I gotta admit, I think it's because of the black coloring. I do like this version of the mold a little bit more than Skids. Things come together nicer. The joints aren't loose. We don't have a second mold syndrome issue. And I just dig the look. I kind of want to actually drive a Honda City now, see what it's like. But other than that, we'll pause and we'll come back with my final thoughts. My issues aside with the store-exclusive Velocitron line, having an issue getting the figures, the staggered release, you can actually find all the figures, Deluxe, Voyager, and Leader, in Walmarts now, but Walmart itself has delayed its release for online orders, and Hasbro Pulse only has the Deluxes in stock, not Cosmos. So I don't understand why we can't get everything at once. And yes, this is actually where I did get this, and IDW Blur was from Hasbro Pulse. Just because other people were getting their figures early, and I didn't want to be one of the last, reviews. But other than that, there's really not much more to say. It's a great figure. If you haven't experienced the mold yet, I do recommend it. And now you got a choice of color and head design. So, this is your old pal Chuck. Like, comment, and subscribe if you'd be so kind. For Velocitron Burnout, we will see you next time.